Moving along to the ESPN Daily. Good morning! If yesterday was important because it was the 10-year anniversary of the decision, today is equally so because it marks 10 years since we realized Dan Gilbert really wrote a breakup letter to LeBron in Comic Sans. Times New Roman or bust. Here's your ESPN Daily. Okay, Ms. Font Supremacist. That was a joke. Inside McCormaker's HBCU decision. 5-star basketball recruit Makur shocked the recruiting world with his decision to commit to Howard University in Washington, D.C. That makes him the highest profile prospect in recent memory to choose an HBCU. That's historically black college or university. In his first interview since the announcement, McCord joins today's episode of the ESPN Daily podcast to explain his decision and discuss its significance with Pablo Torre. Excuse me. Then, Howard coach Kenny Blakeney talks about how he has built the program at Howard, along with the landscape for athletics across HBCU programs. I don't understand why this is such a shock. How did the whole college football landscape become so mountainous with this group of colleges is way up here on the peaks of the football mountain, and then these other colleges are down here in the valleys? Why did it become that way? Because of incentives that colleges are able to offer? The richer colleges? I don't know. Things to care about. Emily Cave, My Life with Colby Cave. Who? Colby and Emily Cave had been married for 9 months when the hockey season paused due to the coronavirus panic. I like hockey, but I don't know shit about it. They returned to Canada, but because Colby was playing for Bakersfield at the time, the Oilers' AHL, American Hockey League, affiliate in California, the couple had to quarantine for 14 days after crossing the border. Since Emily's parents' house in Ontario has a basement apartment, their plan was to stay there in quarantine. It wasn't how they imagined their first year of marriage going, but they were just grateful to be together. On April 6th, everything was normal until Colby began complaining of a severe headache. His pain became worse during the night. By the time an ambulance arrived in the morning, he was hypothermic and completely unresponsive. Hypothermic? Colby was airlifted to Sunnybrook Hospital in Toronto and underwent surgery to remove a colloid cyst from his brain. Emily wasn't allowed to be with him for any of it. Within 14 hours of Colby first saying he had a headache, she was told her 25-year-old husband was on life support. In the days since Colby died, he died. Emily has struggled to process what happened to her husband, but what she knows for sure is that she's determined to continue honoring his legacy, one of kindness and helping others. Emily explained that every morning they had a mantra they would say to each other: be somebody that makes everybody feel like a somebody. Isn't that lovely? That's how Colby lived, and even though he's no longer physically with her, Emily knows he is giving her strength to continue to inspire and help other people. World Series favorite Tampa Bay Rays? David Schoenfield is riding with the Tampa Bay Rays in a big way. He sees pendants. He sees glory. Assuming we do play baseball and get through 60 games and the playoffs without cancellation, Schoenfield is convinced the Rays will be the last team standing. While I can't join him on this crusade because of my affinity for the team that currently holds the title, I can acknowledge the validity of his argument and thus hear the man out. Picking the Rays isn't really an outlandish choice, seeing as they made the playoffs last year and nearly upset the Astros in the American League Division Series. Tampa Bay is a good team with terrific depth throughout its 40-man roster, or really throughout its 60-man summer camp roster. It has been moving in the right direction from 6 wins, that's probably 60-something, in 2016 to 80 to 90 to last year's 96. It has a core of young veterans, and most importantly, perhaps, it has 3 starters. Young veterans seems like an oxymoron in the case of athletes, but maybe not. And most importantly, perhaps, it has 3 starters in the pitching rotation who can stack up with anybody in the majors: Charlie Morton, Blake Snell, and Tyler Glasnow. If, like me, are all aboard the "it's really going to come down to pitching depth in the shortened season" train, you might be interested to know the Rays have that aspect covered too, and a stacked bullpen to boot. Tampa Bay Rays 2020 World Series champs. You heard it here first, but still, go Nats. Things to watch. Wilbon. This is not tolerable. Michael Wilbon did not mince words when responding to Steven Jackson's comments defending Deshaun Jackson's alarming social media posts. Yeah, I read about that yesterday. The former NBA player said the Philadelphia Eagles wide receiver was speaking the truth with his posts, which included an anti-Semitic message that he attributed to Adolf Hitler. Speaking the truth with a Hitler quote that was actually not said by Hitler. It undermines everything Steven Jackson said so eloquently on behalf of Black Lives Matter, Wilbon said. He has no credibility now. Ja rules. Ja Morant stays winning on and off the court. The Memphis Grizzlies star and Rookie of the Year frontrunner showed love for his dad by gifting him a brand new car. There really is nothing like giving back to your parents. Not speaking from personal experience per se, but I can imagine. Overheard. I didn't understand how to read defenses until like halfway through 2018. I was just playing Patrick Mahomes via HBO's The Shop. That's endearing. Remember when? It's all fun and games until somebody gets headbutted on the pitch. On this date in 2006, Francis's Zinedine Zidane. What is that? Zinedine Zidane headbutted Italy's Marco Materazzi in the World Cup final, saying that Materazzi had repeatedly insulted him during the match. Zidane would be issued a red card and miss the penalty shootout, which Italy won 5-3 to capture the title. Until next time, remember, it's hard to think that this time a year ago we were busy basking in the glow of an epic home run derby duel that saw Vlad Jr. and Jock Peterson take the second round into 3 tiebreaker swing-offs. Guerrero set the record for most home runs in a derby before the final round even began, and Pete Alonso become the first Mets player to claim the title since Darryl Strawberry was a co-champion in 1986. Hurry back, baseball. This has been your ESPN Daily for Wednesday, July 9th, 2020. All right. Thank you, ESPN.